Just a quick review of the Brace Direct Dorsal Adjustable Night Splint. So basically, this is, I think if you have trouble with trying a night splint or a night sock, they have night socks now, that helps keep your foot up. This one is actually probably one of the more low profile ones with the least amount of material. Basically, you've got this solid bend here, and then you've got Velcro, and that's it. So as far as being real breathable, this is one of the more breathable ones. So if you want to try a night splint or a night sock, and you think your foot might sweat a lot, this is actually one that you could try. One thing about this one though is that basically, if you have like most night splints or the socks, they are a right angle, but they actually can adjust. In other words, there's something where you can pull up this way and pull your foot up even higher. This one's set at basically around 90 degrees. This is going to work well for some people if that's all the stretch they can tolerate. But if you need to stretch more than 90 degrees to get a good stretch, this probably isn't the brace for you because it's set. Because this is such a fixed, rigid structure here, you're not going to be able to pull your foot up anymore. So the higher you can go is just right here. No matter how much you tighten these straps up, your foot's only going to be able to go around a 90-degree angle. So if you're thinking you need more of a stretch than that, then you can actually just test it out on the floor. Just say, how high can I, with your knee straight, pull your foot up towards your head. And if you can make a 90-degree angle and you don't feel any stretch, this might not be for you. If, however, you can barely make it to 90 degrees, pulling your foot up, 90 degrees being a right angle, then this would be a good one for you. So yeah, overall, just kind of know the ins and outs of it. I think stretching is really good. With plantar fasciitis, that's really the key, I think, to getting over plantar fasciitis. Actually, a lot of people don't know this, but there's no inflammation involved in plantar fasciitis. So if you've been treating the inflammation to get rid of your plantar fasciitis and not getting better, that's probably why. So how do we know that there's no inflammation when it comes to plantar fasciitis? Well, basically, you have to look at the literature where they've done biopsy studies. And that's where, say, they take like 90 people with, chronic plantar fasciitis, and they take a little piece of the tissue out, and they look at it under a microscope. So if there is indeed inflammation in plantar fasciitis, we should be able to find inflammatory cells floating around, some evidence of inflammation. So what do the studies show? Well, this book, The 5-Minute Plantar Fasciitis Solution, I read, actually did a really good job of looking at all those studies, and they compiled all of them over the decades. And what they found is researchers find no cells that are directly involved in the body's inflammatory process. In other words, when they do these biopsy studies, look at them under a high-powered microscope, they don't find any inflammatory cells, so therefore there is no inflammation. It's just proven beyond a doubt in study after study. It's a very consistent result. What do they find? Well, they consistently find evidence of degenerative changes in the plantar fascia. Like I said before, this is a tissue that's, they find an incomplete healing process. This is a tissue that's being stressed, it's trying to heal, but it just can't, and so you're hurting. But in the absence of inflammation, no inflammation involved in it. Tennis elbows are kind of like that too. Same kind of, they find the same kinds of things. So here again, stretching is really good. It, like I said, helps collagen fibers, which is part of the healing process. Get them realigned, which is speeds things up. The 5-Minute Plantar Fasciitis Solution basically has been shown in a lot of randomized controlled trials to be effective. Now, if you're going to prove that something's effective in medicine, you do a randomized controlled trial. That's the highest form of proof in medicine that treatment's actually effective. There's about 4 or 5 randomized controlled trials showing that this stretching technique is really effective. And usually, some of them are showing like 90+% effective in chronic plantar fasciitis sufferers. So it also goes over the timing when you're supposed to do the stretch. So it's not all about the stretch. It's like, when do you do the stretch? So just another tool for your toolbox if you're struggling. If you're interested in like a rigid brace, night splint, that's pretty breathable, I think this is a good one. So definitely check it out.